So it was early Sunday morning, and it was still dark outside. And suddenly there was a massive earthquake, and an angel descended from heaven and rolled away the giant rock that covered the tomb that Jesus laid in. And the guards that were watching that tomb were so terrified by what they were seeing that they fainted, passed out. And suddenly everything was quiet and peaceful. And the sun comes back out, and it's the morning, and Mary Magdalene and a group of other women are on their way to the tomb to cover Jesus' body with spices. And they're thinking to themselves, how am I going to get this massive rock out of the way so we can do what we got to do? And then they get there, and it's wide open and unattended. There are no guards, there's no one around, and Mary freaks out, and she goes to find somebody to tell them that the body's gone. The other women that were there decide that they're going to peek in and look for themselves. So they step in, and there's an angel there. And he tells them, you're looking for Jesus, and he's not here. He's risen. Go tell the disciples and go tell Peter that he's alive. So they get up and they go. Meanwhile, Mary's already found Peter and John, and she tells them they took Jesus's body, and I don't know where they put him. And so Peter and John run to the tomb, and they get there and they look inside, and it's gone. The body is gone. The linens are still there where they were wrapped, but the body is gone. And so they're so confused, and they leave. And Mary begins to weep, and she goes back into the tomb, and there's an angel there, and he tells her, why are you crying? And she says, they've taken the body of my Lord, and I can't find him. And she's crying, and she exits the tomb, and she's walking in the garden, and she thinks she's a gardener, but she can't tell because she's just crying. And she says, hey, if you know where they put Jesus, can you tell me? And the gardener tells her, Mary? And she freezes because she recognizes his voice, and that's not a gardener. And she looks up, and it's Jesus. And she falls to his feet, and she says, Master. And he looks at her, and he says, get up. Go tell the disciples that I'm alive. Go tell Peter that I'm alive. So she gets up, and she goes to find them. And then Jesus appears to the same women that were sent before, and they fall and they worship him. And he tells them, go tell my brothers that I'm alive and that I'm going to meet them in Galilee. So they all go to find them, and when they do find them, they're rejoicing. Jesus is alive. We saw him. We talked to him. And the disciples are beside themselves. They can't even believe what they're hearing. Meanwhile, those guards that had passed out before were now awake and freaking out. And they run to the religious leaders, and they tell them everything that they saw, the angel and the rock and everything. And these leaders look at them, and they look at each other, and they're like, you didn't see that. You're not going to tell anyone that you saw that. And they pull out some cash, and they said, as a matter of fact, you're going to tell them that while you were sleeping, the disciples came and pushed away the stone and stole the body, right? And the guards look at each other because they don't want to get in trouble for, passing out on the job. And they take the money, and they do exactly what they were told.